the year Chen Shubai became the top scorer in the college entrance examination. Tsinghua and Peking University fought over him, adding a couple's spot for him. Everyone thought he would give that spot to me. But in the end, the one who went to Peking University with him was the transfer student Xu Jing Shu. Peking University is Jing Shu's dream. She needs this spot more. Chen Shubai said, I didn't do well in school, going there would only invite criticism. So he helped me apply to an art school in Beijing. And promised, when you graduate, we'll get married. But later, I embarked on the path of studying abroad. When we met again, Chen Shubai looked at the ring on my finger, and his eyes turned red. Why? Didn't you say you would only marry me? 7 years after high school graduation. The first time I heard Chen Shubai's name was at an airport in a foreign land. The girl sitting next to me in the waiting area looked at me for the 7th time. She finally couldn't help but tentatively call out to me. Mint. I looked up subconsciously, looking at the unfamiliar face of the other person, full of doubts. Is it really you? Do you still remember me? I'm also from Yongchuan No. 5 Middle School. Seeing my response, she suddenly became happy. Yongchuan No. 5 Middle School is my alma mater. The other party is my classmate from the same year. She said we once rehearsed a program together during the school celebration. It's apparent. She is trying very hard to jog my memory about her. But high school days are too distant from me now. Many once familiar names and faces have become blurred. No matter how I search my memory, I still can't recognize her. But she is not embarrassed, instead she says, It's okay if you don't remember me. Do you remember Chen Shubai? Chen Shubai. The moment I heard this name, my expression and gaze changed. It was too obvious, and the other party saw it at a glance. She continued, Back then, you two were the famous golden couple of the school. When Chen Shubai got the top score, Tsinghua and Peking University fought over him, specifically adding an extra spot for him, saying they could also admit his girlfriend. So, did you go to Peking University with Chen Shubai? Have you graduated now? Are you married? Are you on a business trip? She chatters on. She asked 4 or 5 questions in a row. But in reality, I didn't hear any of them. My mind is filled with all sorts of memories that emerged because of this name. I don't know how to respond to the enthusiastic alumnus. Fortunately, the airport announcement for my flight rang out at that moment. I hurriedly got up. Sorry, I have to board. The other party was caught off guard, could only look at me with a puzzled expression. But my mood did not calm down because of my departure. Instead, as I sat down, planning to spend the long 7-hour flight by sleeping, it became heavier. As soon as I close my eyes, the words Chen Shubai linger in my mind. He is like a sealed spell. Once mentioned, those about him, like the quicksand in the desert. Endless. Chen Shubai is my childhood friend. He is also the first genius student since the founding of Yongchuan No. 5 Middle School. In 3 years of high school, he won more than 20 awards for the school. 7 years ago in the college entrance examination, he won the national championship with a high score of 748. Both Tsinghua and Peking University were shaken and came to recruit him overnight. Just like the girl said, in order to get him to go to their own school. The 2 top universities offered extremely tempting conditions and promised each other Chen Shubai could bring anyone he wanted to be admitted along with Tsinghua and Peking University. That year, Chen Shubai hadn't spoken yet. Congratulations reached my ears. After all, no one in the whole grade didn't know. Chen Shubai and I were childhood sweethearts with a deep affection. But now, I recall the girl's excited and envious expression. A trace of surprise and mockery spread in my heart. It turns out that even today, there are still people who don't know. Actually, the person who went to college with Chen Shubai was not me. 7 hours. I spent 6.5 hours in a daze, until I got off the plane and received a call. The thoughts in my mind were occupied by another person's voice. This made me feel a little better. Hello. Are you there? Yeah, just landed. What's wrong with you? You don't sound right. The other person only heard me say 5 words. And noticed something. I had to marvel at Chu Yan's keenness. But I also didn't want to tell him what happened before getting on the plane. To avoid unnecessary worries. Nothing, just tired from the long flight. Then hurry back to the hotel and get some good rest. Okay. I hung up the phone and got on the hotel shuttle. The time difference was harder to overcome than I imagined. Exhausted as I was, I just couldn't fall asleep when I closed my eyes. Finally got it over with. Unexpectedly, I received a call from my high school class president by way. Mint, you're back in the country and didn't say a word. She was very excited. I was somewhat surprised. How did you know? Of course, I saw it in the high school campus group. I haven't logged into my old QQ for a long time. I thought about the password for a long time before remembering it. Before graduating from high school, an alumnus set up a campus group for our graduating class. It was quite lively at first, but the longer the time went on, the chat in the group hasn't been updated for years. But just 2 days ago, someone posted a photo of me in the group. Oh my God! I ran into our school's belle at the airport abroad. At first, I didn't dare to recognize her. Only after calling her name did I confirm. She is so beautiful, tall, and intellectual. I can't breathe. It was a silhouette of me sitting on a chair with my eyes closed and looking down. I recognized the background as the place I boarded the plane a few days ago. No need to guess. The person who sent the message and took the photo is the alumnus I met that day. The group suddenly became lively because of my photo. Is it really her? She hasn't changed at all? Is she alone? Is Chen Shubai with her? I scrolled down a few lines. I saw Chen Shubai's name again. Just like before. No matter when, as long as one of us is mentioned casually, the other person's name will always appear alongside. Like a shadow following, unforgettable. No, she is alone. The girl who posted the photo replied. Some were puzzled, some were confused. Until a message, don't you know? Chen Shubai and both broke up the year of our college entrance examination was sent out. It reignited the long silent group. Aha! What's going on? Break up. Chen Shubai likes mint so much. How could he bear to break up? Revolving around this topic, there were nearly 1,000 messages of gossip in the group. And I, upon seeing the first one, had already lost interest in scrolling down. Bai Wei was still talking nonstop on the other end of the phone. She asked me which city I was in now. I didn't hide it, I told her the truth. Upon hearing this, the other party became even more excited. What a coincidence. I'm also in Beijing. We must meet up, right? Let's have a meal together. In high school, I had a pretty good relationship with Bai Wei. After going abroad, the only classmate I still kept in touch with was her. I didn't refuse, I nodded and agreed. And it was this nod that led me to meet the person who, upon returning to the country for just a few days, disrupted all my emotions, Chen Shubai. To be honest, I was a bit surprised, because I didn't expect Chen Shubai's friend gathering would also be in the same place. At that time, I had just seen Bai Wei. She was as excited as she was on the phone. After hugging me tightly, she said, "Good heavens, I've missed you so much." She's still as lively and cheerful as she was in high school. She intimately linked her arm with mine as we walked and talked. She said quite a lot, and I just listened quietly, until she brought up, "You have no idea how disappointed our old class teacher was when you didn't go to Tsinghua. You've been abroad for years, and he's still talking about you to the next batch of students." "Oh, you really, just for a Chen Shubai, why?" Her voice suddenly stopped. Her steps also halted. I was originally immersed in my own thoughts. The sudden silence made me realize something. I looked up, as expected. The person in front of me also gave me a start. Chen Shubai. This is the first time in 7 years that I've met Chen Shubai. In the years of growing up alone after parting, I've thought countless times, what would 17-year-old Chen Shubai look like when he grows up? And now the person in front of me is overlapping with the person in my memory. White shirt, black pants. A pair of indifferent yet beautiful eyes. Gone is the youthfulness of high school, though not as spirited as back then. Yet there's more composure and self-restraint. The only constant is the inherent sense of coldness in the bones. I always thought that Shu Bai was like a distant and indifferent star. Now looking again, I find his coldness and distance have increased. Bai Wei looks at me, then at him. The originally spacious passage. Due to this sudden encounter, it's inexplicably filled with a deathly silence. It seems to have become narrow in an instant. But soon someone broke this narrowness. "Shu Bai, everyone's here just waiting for you." A clear and gentle female voice came from behind Shu Bai. The person walked straight towards Shu Bai. Only when she noticed his strangeness did her gaze follow. The moment our eyes met, I saw shock in her eyes. Then her lips trembled a bit, and she finally called out my name. Bohi. I heard the unease in her voice. I think she doesn't need to be like this at all. After all, she was the victor back then. And I, the one who fled in panic. At that moment, I had a thought. If that schoolmate at the airport was still there, I could tell her. Actually, the one who went to Peking University with Chen Shubai wasn't me. It was her, Xu Jing Shu. Before the age of 17, how close were Chen Shubai and I? Everyone who knew us was aware. Wherever Chen Shubai was, I would be there too. Chen Shubai and I, from the moment of birth, our destinies were intertwined. We were born on the same day, month, and year. Since kindergarten, we were inseparable. Chen Shubai's first piece of candy was always for me. He fought his first fight for me. Even my first period. Chen Shubai personally bought me the sanitary pads. Before the age of 17, Chen Shubai was never absent from any part of my life. We were so close that everyone just assumed we would be each other's significant other in the future. I also thought so, but it was in the second year of high school. Xu Jing Shu appeared. She was a transfer student from the county town. She parachuted into the top class where Chen Shubai was. I first heard her name. It was during the midterms of the second year of high school. This inconspicuous transfer student ranked second in the whole school. Her score was only 1 point away from Chen Shubai, who was the top scorer in the school. Wow, she almost caught up with your Chen Shubai. At that time, Bai Wei was biting on a lollipop. Looking at the two names closely posted on the score ranking list, she clicked her tongue in amazement. I didn't think much of it at the time. Don't worry, Chen Shubai is so amazing, she won't be able to catch up. Only later did I find out. This chasing is not the same as that chasing. And I was way off. I don't know when it started. Xu Jing Shu became a person we must talk about when I chatted with Chen Shubai. It was also Xu Jing Shu who solved the math problem that had been troubling Chen Shubai for a long time. Perhaps it was the first time she outperformed Chen Shubai. Or perhaps it was the first time they both participated in a competition. They were rivals, yet they had great chemistry. They swept the first and second places, bringing glory to the school. The banner celebrating the two hung in the teaching building for half a month. I used to not care. Xu Jing Shu, whom I never took seriously, was gradually taking over my place in Chen Shubai's heart. Until the year of the college entrance exam. Chen Shubai said to me, "Bo, I want to go to Peking University." Although we had already argued several times because of Xu Jing Shu. We were still in a Cold War at that time, but I still supported him. Great, then go for it. Later, I found out. Peking University was not his dream. It was Xu Jing Shu's. On the day he got an extra quota from Tsinghua and Peking University. He said to me personally, "Bo, Peking University is Jing Shu's dream. She needs this quota more than you, let her have it." Now I see Chen Shubai and Xu Jing Shu standing side by side. They have their own magnetic field and intellectual aura. Compared to 7 years ago, they seem to be more tacit, especially Xu Jing Shu. At the moment when she met my gaze, suddenly raised her hand and held Chen Shubai's arm. "Bo, you're back? Why didn't you tell us?" The unease in her eyes had already dissipated. It was a politeness and pride unfamiliar to me, with a hint of claiming sovereignty. I've been abroad for these years. Not completely out of touch either. In the first couple of years after I went abroad, news about Chen Shubai and Xu Jingshu would still reach my ears. They both went to Peking University together, entered the same major and laboratory. The two continued their high school brilliance. They worked in harmony in their field, winning countless awards and smoothly proceeding to graduate studies. Everyone said they were a match made in heaven, both talented and beautiful. A perfectly matched couple of scholars and beauties. It's ironic. Before, people used to call Chen Shubai and me like that too, but in a new environment with different people. After I was no longer by Chen Shubai's side, the one who matched and understood him was someone else. I can't help but recall what Xu Jingshu once said to me. "You're just lucky to have a good background and grew up with Chen Shubai. But if you were in my shoes, standing by his side, it might not be you." I didn't care back then. Now it seems. What she said was indeed true. Bai Wei is one of the few people who truly know and understand the matter of my breakup with Chen Shubai. She has no good feelings towards Chen Shubai. The same goes for Xu Jing Shu. Bai Wei put her arm around my hand. "Who are you? Are you close with Bohi?" "Just talking to you." Xu Jing Shu's expression stiffened. She looked helplessly at Chen Shubai. It seemed like she hoped he could, as he had done many times before, speak up to defend himself. But from the moment we met, Chen Shubai seemed to have lost his soul. He stood stiffly in place, but his gaze was persistently on me. Bai Wei rolled her eyes. She took my hand and turned around. "Let's go find another place." It seemed she was even more unwilling to see Chen Shubai than I was. But Chen Shubai is more persistent and difficult to deal with than we imagined. After we left, Chen Shubai followed closely. When Bai Wei and I were eating, he parked his car by the roadside. The reason I could recognize it at a glance was because the license plate number was somewhat familiar, our birthdays. Through the windshield, I finally saw him in the driver's seat. But he did not approach to disturb. Sitting there, as if a sculpture gazing with deep affection. I furrowed my brows. Then it was the way back to the hotel. Chen Shubai followed behind me. Upon reaching the destination, I finally couldn't help but get out of the car. Walked up to the driver's side window. Knocked on the glass. Chen Shubai, don't you know that following someone is illegal? The car window rolled down. Chen Shubai looked up. It was then that I saw his red, restrained eyes, holding a bit of moisture. Xiao Bohu, you are so ruthless. Chen Shubai cried. I remembered back in junior high. I was secretly photographed under the skirt by other boys, and Chen Shubai was so angry that he went to seek justice for me. It was his first fight. No technique, just brute force. The other party was beaten by him into the hospital. The boys' parents came to the door, clamoring to give Chen Shubai a major disciplinary penalty. Faced with the teacher's demand for an apology, Chen Shubai was more stubborn than anyone else. I won't apologize. Whoever bullies Bohu, I'll kill them. That day he was beaten by Uncle Chen until he couldn't get up. I went to see him. As soon as I saw him lying on the bed, tears started to fall. Chen Shubai felt heartbroken, comforting me while wiping away my tears. Why are you crying? Does it hurt? It doesn't hurt. He was lying. I clearly saw him shivering in pain. Back then, Chen Shubai never shed a tear, no matter how much pain he was in. But now, he slightly raised his head. Upon our reunion, he shed tears the moment he saw me. Those tears slowly slid from the corners of Chen Shubai's eyes. He seemed to have suffered a great injustice. His nose, eyes, and even his ears were all red. He said I was ruthless. I actually managed to not contact him for a whole 7 years. Yes, who could have imagined that someone who used to be anxious at the thought of being apart from Chen Shubai for even a day, now could endure 7 years without seeing Chen Shubai. I resolutely embarked on the path of studying abroad. Everyone thought I was holding a grudge. No one believed that I could truly let go of the 18 years of inseparable companionship with Chen Shubai. Chen Shubai also didn't believe. He came to me, saying he wanted to help me fill out my college application. I've selected many art schools for you, all in Beijing. Bo, don't be angry anymore, we can still be together. By then, he had already given the spot to Xu Jing Shu. Those who originally congratulated me fell silent. Their gazes and attitudes turned into sympathy and regret. Chen Shubai hugged me. He promised me. After you graduate, we'll get married, okay? He knew what I cared about. I can't live without Chen Shubai. Because I really like him. I even firmly believe that in this life, I only love Chen Shubai. It was 18 years ago, and it will be 18 years later. But it turns out that the fondness of youth cannot last a lifetime. I quietly stared at Chen Shubai. If it were a very, very long time ago, he stared at me and said such words to me, I would have been heartbroken. But now my heart is as still as water. I don't even want to reminisce about the past and argue about right and wrong with him at this moment. I raised my hand to call the hotel security. I reminded him, this person has been following me all the way, keep an eye on him. The security guard's expression changed from puzzled to serious. He stared at Chen Shubai warily, and I turned and walked towards the hotel lobby. 2 days later, I returned to my high school alma mater to visit my homeroom teacher. Seeing me come back, the teacher was extremely surprised. She held my hand and talked a lot. Her eyes were filled with affection and emotion. How are you now? Are you still painting? When I was promoted to high school, my grades were unstable. My family was afraid I wouldn't be able to advance to higher education, and they were extremely anxious. It was the newly transferred homeroom teacher who discovered my talent for art. I have absolute color sense and a strong spatial imagination. She strongly recommended that I pursue an artistic path. In the end, I embarked on the road of learning to paint. During the 3 years of high school, she took care of me a lot, even when I went abroad to study and search for art schools. I couldn't have done it without her intervention. After I broke up with Chen Shubai, she was genuinely worried that I would be emotionally hurt and never pick up a paintbrush again. Yes, teacher, I have never stopped. She is the person I am most grateful to. And this time, I have prepared a surprise for her. Teacher, I have come back this time at the invitation of Tsinghua University to hold my solo art exhibition. I handed the invitation in my bag to her. The teacher's expression changed from confusion to utter shock. Tsinghua? Solo exhibition? Her hand holding the invitation trembled slightly. Her gaze shifted from shock to relief. Gradually, a mist formed in her eyes as she looked at me. I knew it, Bo, you have talent, you are my most proud student. Back then when you were for Chen Shubai, I was really afraid. I was touched deep inside. Teacher. The teacher wiped the corners of her eyes, looking at me with a myriad of emotions. I was so worried when you gave up on the Central Academy of Fine Arts and Tsinghua. Thankfully, her tears just kept coming as she wiped them away. I couldn't help but have tears welling up in my eyes as well. You will always be my mentor. I had a long and hearty conversation with the teacher. The teacher promised me that she would definitely come to see my exhibition. Before I left, she couldn't help but say, "Bo, your painting style has become brighter compared to before." I understood what she was trying to say. I gave a faint smile. "Teacher, as you think." The teacher, having received the answer, nodded gently. She looked at me with the same gentleness and kindness as many years ago. "Congratulations and best wishes to you." "Sure." After finishing the visit, I returned to the hotel. The security guard from before saw me and suddenly approached. "Ma'am, your friend is here again." "Friend?" I looked in the direction of his gaze, puzzled. I saw Chen Shubai's car again. This time, my brows were furrowed even more than the past 2 days. The security guard said helplessly, "He comes every day these 2 days, doesn't say anything, just waits here." The security guard had asked him once before. But Chen Shubai took out our old photos to show that he meant no harm. The security guard watched him for 2 days and indeed didn't find any unusual behavior. Chen Shubai neither asked questions nor moved forward. He just waited here, unchanging every night. He would leave during the day, probably to go back to school for experiments. "Ma'am, did you two have a disagreement?" The other party inquired tactfully. I shook my head. "I'm not close with him, but I've seen him waiting for you for several days, and his condition seems a bit off today." He told me. I was surprised for a second. I looked outside and just happened to make eye contact with Chen Shubai. Indeed, compared to the past 2 days, his complexion is a bit off. With the high temperatures these past few days, the security guard is afraid something might happen to him and asks me, "Shall we call the police, ma'am?" I was about to nod. Suddenly, a car that pulled up let out someone. It was Xu Jing Shu. She hurriedly rushed towards Chen Shubai, pulled open the other person's car door. I don't know what she said to the other person. Xu Jing Shu's gaze was cast over. Her eyes were indignant and resentful. I withdrew my gaze. "No need, the person who came to take him away has already arrived." I didn't take Chen Shubai's matter to heart. Not to mention that so many years have passed since the incident. There's no point in talking about it anymore. The main reason for my return to the country this time is to hold an art exhibition. This is my first time exhibiting in my home country. I don't want any unexpected incidents. Therefore, before the art exhibition ends, I don't want to divert too much energy to other matters. But I didn't expect the encounter with Chen Shubai. There would actually be a follow-up. Chen Shubai got sick. Over the years, he has been a prominent figure in the school. Suddenly falling ill, naturally there's no shortage of people who care. Many people are asking what happened. There's no wall that doesn't let the wind through. No one knows where the news came from. It's said that Chen Shubai got sick because of me. Ah, poor Chen Shubai, he always stumbles over her. Who let Xiaobo be Chen Shubai's Achilles heel? Have you forgotten the time Chen Shubai fought for Xiaobo? I must say, they've been broken up for so long. Why is Chen Shubai still chasing after her? Still in love? How much Chen Shubai adores Bo. When Xiaobo left the country without a word, Chen Shubai was half dead. Right, as soon as she came back, he was there, watching over her for several nights, afraid she would run away again. The long-silent alumni group became lively because of my affair with Chen Shubai. It's clear that everyone is very idle, as if they are eating the melon of a large-scale TV series. Almost every day, someone in the group would reveal a little bit. One would talk about how close Chen Shubai and I used to be. Another would talk about how Chen Shubai was disheartened and lost his fighting spirit after I went abroad. Finally, they would ask one more question. So why did she come back this time? Could it be for Chen Shubai? When these messages reached my ears, the preliminary preparations for the art exhibition were nearing completion. At the same time, I received a call from Chu Yan. He routinely inquired about the progress of the art exhibition. After hearing that I was fine, his voice was filled with regret. "I'm sorry, I can't be with you this time." I could hear more frustration and disappointment in his tone. A little helpless, I reminded him with a smile. "Mr. Chu, we're only apart for half a month. But half a month is also a long time," Chu Yan said with a sense of grievance. "I miss you so much, we've never been apart for this long." That's true. When I had exhibitions abroad before, he would always find time to accompany me. But this time the distance is too far, and he's busy with work. That's why I came back alone. I comforted him. Then as soon as the exhibition is over, I'll come back right away. Okay, I'll pick you up. My mood became cheerful because of this phone call. But it didn't last long. A mutual friend of mine and Chen Shubai sent a message. Mint, I heard you're back in the country. Shubai is sick. Can you come to see him? I frowned. The word can't was already typed in. The other party continued. Even if you've been separated for 7 years, it's not like you should never see each other again. That's not the case. After thinking it over, I still bought a bouquet of flowers and went to the hospital. Chen Shubai's ward was easy to find. Before knocking on the door, I heard Xu Jing Shu's voice. When are you going to stop torturing yourself for her? She doesn't care about you at all. You've been sick for days. Has she ever come to see you? It's none of your business. Chen Shubai's voice was cold. Xu Jing Shu was both angry and furious. Until my knocking sounded. She turned her head and saw me, frowning. Xiaobohu, what are you doing here? Chen Shubai was stunned, then quickly looked up. There were other people in the ward. I didn't recognize them. Probably people from Chen Shubai's lab. Hearing Xu Jingshu's words, they also turned their gazes towards me. Is she the mint that Senior Chen mentioned? Yes, it's her who caused Senior Chen to get sick. I ignored the inquisitive looks from everyone. I walked into the ward and placed the flowers on the table. I heard you were sick, so I came to check on you. That friend was right. Chen Shubai and I haven't reached the point of never speaking to each other again. We grew up together after all. Now I've let go of the past. I've also started a new life. There's no need to dwell on a Chen Shubai. It's best if we can be friends, if not, I won't regret it. This trip today. It's also a kind of closure for our childhood. That's what I think. But Chen Shubai doesn't. After seeing me approach and speak, his dark, calm eyes brightened instantly. Mint! Chen Shubai called out my name, suddenly remembering there were other people present. You all leave first. The people who came to visit him turned and left. Only Xu Jing Shu stayed where she was. Chen Shubai said to Xu Jing Shu, You leave too. Xu Jing Shu was taken aback after looking at Chen Shubai. She looked at me again. I saw her press her lips tightly, with a hint of unwillingness in her eyes. The ward quickly became quiet. This is the first time in 7 years that I've been alone with Chen Shubai. Two people who used to talk about everything have become speechless when facing each other. Chen Shubai told me to sit down. I didn't sit, standing 1 meter away from his hospital bed looking at him. Chen Shubai, don't get me wrong, I really just came to see you. Now seeing that you're fine, I'm leaving. I turned and left. Mint! Chen Shubai suddenly called out to me. I turned my head and saw his thin, pale face. Are you still angry with me? What I said that day was a lie, you're not ruthless. I just miss you too much. Chen Shumbai's voice was hoarse. His eyes turned red again. For 7 years, I've been thinking of you every moment. You don't know how happy I was when I heard you were back in the country. The waiting photo posted by the alumni in the group. He looked at it countless times, zooming in and out. Even though he was sure it was me, he was still so excited his hands were shaking. Until that day we met. The heart that had been hanging high in the air finally came down. He had a lot to tell me. He kept watch at my hotel, repeatedly confirming over and over. I really came back. Even here, I got out of the car and talked to him. It used to be me who talked a lot with Chen Shubai. This is the first time it's reversed, with Chen Shubai talking nonstop. If it were the 17-year-old me, I would be very, very happy. But now, after hearing countless, I misuse from Chen Shubai, I feel completely indifferent. Chen Shubai, staying up for several nights to watch over a hotel, that's called harassment, not waiting. Also, I don't miss you. I'm doing very well now, and I came back to the country this time because I had business to attend to. Running into you again was completely unexpected. If possible, I really don't want to see him. I'm so blunt and cold. Chen Shubai's just joyful and bright expression suddenly becomes dull and stiff. He stares at me persistently, as if he still wants to find evidence of my lying in my eyes. But unfortunately, I'm very calm. It's getting late, I'm leaving first. By the way, I hope you can clarify the messages in the group. After saying that, I turned and left. Suddenly, Chen Shubai's voice rang out behind me. I don't believe it. Xiaobo, I don't believe it. If you really have no lingering feelings for me, you wouldn't have come back. Chen Shubai prides himself on understanding me very well. But this time I just feel he's being nonsensical. Not long after leaving the ward, I was called out again. Xiaobo. Xu Jing Shu walked straight towards me. Her expression was serious and cold. Chat? I looked at her in confusion. After all, my relationship with Xu Jing Shu was not even a nod of acquaintance. During this time back, although I've bumped into her a few times, but we haven't spoken a single word. I really don't know what there is to talk about. Except Chen Shubai. As expected. Just as I thought. Xu Jing Shu came for Chen Shubai. You've been avoiding Chen Shubai before, and now you deliberately show up here, Xiaobo. What do you really want? I don't know what kind of anger Xu Jing Shu has been holding. She confronts me with a barrage of questions. I'm a bit bewildered. Didn't I just say? I came to visit Chen Shubai. You haven't contacted Chen Shubai for 7 years, and now that you're back in the country, you're making such a fuss. I never realized before, you're actually so scheming. But Xu Jing Shu like Chen Shubai. Neither of them believes what I say. Her expression is indifferent, with no warmth in her eyes. I understand. Xu Jing Shu also saw the messages in the group. She thought I was playing hard to get, coming for Chen Shubai. I looked at the hint of scrutiny and hostility in Xu Jing Shu's eyes. This demeanor was completely different from what I remembered. The cautious and meticulous her from high school. Xu Jing Shu in high school. Quiet and reserved, not fond of chatting with people. Except with Chen Shubai. She could always talk confidently with him when they encountered exams or competition problem-solving. Eloquent and self-assured. People said she had a big contrast. But after several interactions, Xu Jing Shu gave me a very strange feeling. When she found out I was an art student, she would ask me many questions in front of Chen Shubai. I thought she was curious or interested. I answered patiently. But Xu Jing Shu said, I really envy you guys, it's so much better being an art student. You only need a little bit of points to get into college, not like us. I sensed her misunderstanding and explained to her. No, we also have to put in a lot of effort. Even so, you still have the path of being an art student. Many kids from ordinary families can't afford art classes. They can only rely on studying. I said, not really, you see Chen Shubai, he's very impressive without studying art. But many kids from wealthy families don't have to take the college entrance exam. They are sent by their parents to study art and then go abroad to get a prestigious education. Just like you, right? Xu Jing Shu countered. I didn't know what she was trying to say. But this topic made me uncomfortable. I didn't want to go abroad. Chen Shubai and I had agreed to go to college together. And at that time, the head teacher also said, I'm hardworking, talented, and as long as I persist, getting into the top art academies is not a problem. But I told Xu Jing Shu these words. She was not happy though. So that's how it is, then you and Chen Shubai have a really good relationship. But do you really think you can get into the university that Chen Shubai wants to attend? That's what many art teachers say, otherwise how do you art students persist? Just like how underachievers also need encouragement. Xu Jing Shu murmured. Her face was deliberately curled into a smile. There was no emotion in her eyes at all. I didn't understand back then why Xu Jing Shu would have a bias against art students. Only later did I find out. She wasn't biased against art students, she was biased against me. And prejudice breeds malice. In that year of senior high, her subtle malice was everywhere. Like a venomous snake lurking in the shadows. Always ready to strike at the right moment. Eventually, it delivered a fatal blow to me. And all of this was because of Chen Shubai. If you're leaving, why come back? Do you know how Shubai has been living these 7 years? Xu Jing Shu angrily questioned. She said, in the 7 years since I left, Chen Shubai has been living like a puppet. There was an accident in the lab once. Chen Shubai got injured and lay in the ICU for 3 days. He nearly lost his life, remaining in a coma. But he kept murmuring my name. In the end, it was by constantly calling out to him at his bedside that Chen Shubai was awakened. In the most difficult times, it was me who stayed by Chen Shubai's side. Why should you come back and take all his attention? Do you want to kill him? Xu Jing Shu glared at me. It was clear that she was deeply infatuated with Chen Shubai. These days, in addition to talking about me in the group, Xu Jing Shu was also mentioned. In everyone's eyes, she was the unwavering, quietly guarding, deeply affectionate presence. I listened to Xu Jing Shu's words. I don't know whether to be angry or to laugh. Perhaps the sarcasm in my eyes was too obvious. Xu Jing Shu became even angrier. What are you laughing at? Xu Jing Shu, isn't all of this just as you wished? But you didn't succeed, so why are you blaming me? Xu Jing Shu's angry expression froze like a mask. I stared at her coldly. I still remember what Xu Jing Shu said to me. You're just relying on your good background, and luckily grew up with Chen Shubai. But if you were in my shoes standing by his side, it might not be you. I found out in my senior year that Xu Jing Shu had a crush on Chen Shubai. At that time, Chen Shubai lost a notebook. It wasn't anything important, but Chen Shubai had written countless times, "Chen Shubai will always be with Xiaobo" on it. Later, I found that notebook at Xu Jing Shu's place. Nothing much changed. The only change was that my name was fiercely crossed out, and Xu Jing Shu's own name was written in its place. After I found out, Xu Jing Shu no longer concealed her hostility towards me. She said, "If you give me time to be by Chen Shubai's side, he will also like me." So she had already decided to apply to the same university as Chen Shubai. But after learning about my agreement with Chen Shubai, 3 months before the college entrance exam, she broke her leg. To this day, I still don't know if it was intentional or accidental. I only know, after that, Chen Shubai, fearing that Xu Jing Shu might fail the college entrance exam, frequently tutored her. Even on every night when Xu Jing Shu sent messages crying about her fear of not doing well in the exam, he stayed up all night to comfort her. Finally, the college entrance exam ended. Xu Jing Shu missed Peking University by 1 point. She cried uncontrollably. Everyone felt sorry for her, including Chen Shubai. It was also that night. Chen Shubai said to me, "Mint, Xu Jing Shu needs this spot more than you." I'm not saying I didn't tell Chen Shubai about the oddities of this situation. But at that time, Chen Shubai's heart and eyes were all about Xu Jing Shu. Even for her, he said to me, "Your grades are not good. Even if you go, you will be the subject of people's gossip." Chen Shubai and I grew up together since childhood. When has he ever spoken to me like that? At that moment, I knew Xu Jing Shu had won. I chose to go abroad, vowing to cut off all ties with Chen Shubai. And about getting into Tsinghua University, I never told anyone. Are we wrong to say that giving you the spot is a waste? So you're here to show off to me that Chen Shubai can't forget you. Xu Jing Shu was furious and embarrassed. I realized that both Chen Shubai and Xu Jing Shu misunderstood the reason for my return. In fact, it's not just them. Many people are. I didn't mean not to explain, because soon they will all know. That night, my old class teacher posted a moment on WeChat. A student with the same group screenshotted it and sent it to the group. It quickly caused a huge uproar. The class teacher captioned, "Congratulations to my student. 7 years ago, I felt regretful because you gave up Tsinghua. Now, as an emerging star in the art world, you are invited to hold an exhibition at Tsinghua, and I am proud of you." She posted the invitation letter, along with one of my exhibition posters. The poster had my name, photo, and representative works. Some people don't understand paintings, but they recognize the person in the photo at a glance. Our high school class teacher posted, "Is this Xiaobo?" So she came back to the country because she was invited to hold an exhibition. That's awesome. It really is. I remember she studied fine arts in high school. What's going on? Didn't someone say before that she went to study art because her grades were not good, and she didn't get into college? How can they say she gave up Tsinghua? Countless messages unfolded because of this screenshot. Some nosy people have already started to search my name online to verify its authenticity, after gossiping about my emotional history with Chen Shubai for so many days. They finally turned their attention to my 7 years abroad. It's true. Xiaobo graduated from a top art school in the world. A painting of hers sold for $1 million in the past 2 years. Besides that, she has hundreds of thousands of followers on foreign websites. Many art media have reported on her. You guys in the cultural class probably don't know, right? Xiaobo was the most talented art student in our class. She passed the joint entrance examination and school exam of the 4 major art schools back then, and her college entrance exam score was pretty good too. She could have gone to Tsinghua. Finally, an art student from the same grade spoke up. Our art students and cultural students attended classes in different teaching buildings at that time. This also led to a lack of information exchange between the two sides. At that time, Chen Shubai only thought that I scored above the first-tier line. But he didn't know that those scores were already enough for me to stand shoulder to shoulder with him and go to the same school. Xu Jingshu's face turned pale the moment she saw this news. It's said that she even went to ask her former homeroom teacher. She had always ignored and thought poorly of me, but I had been shining in another field all along. After receiving confirmation of the news, she was unusually silent for a few days. Bai Wei told me that Xu Jingshu used to be quite active on social media, occasionally posting some award photos with Chen Shubai. "Hey, I remember she implied that you wouldn't get into college back then, right?" When Bai Wei asked. My art exhibition had already started for 2 days. She had just received my news from the old class teacher. Ordered a congratulatory bouquet for me before the art exhibition started. Wishing me a successful exhibition. I don't know, I forgot. I shook my head. Bai Wei didn't dwell on this answer. She was preoccupied with other things. Mint, has Chen Shubai never come to see you? I didn't have time to answer. The next second, speak of the devil, and the devil appears. Chen Shubai arrived. I saw him at the entrance of the exhibition hall. Compared to the first time we met again, he was emaciated with a pale complexion, standing in front of my art exhibition poster for a long time without moving, like a dried-up sculpture. Because he stood for too long, it even attracted the attention of the staff. Why doesn't he come in? Bai Wei was puzzled. I said indifferently, maybe he doesn't like my paintings. A very long time ago, Chen Shubai stopped paying attention to my paintings. He doesn't know which of my paintings have improved, which painting won an award. He doesn't know either. Actually, initially, I made a lot of effort to go to college with him. A lot of effort. A week later, my art exhibition ended successfully, thanks to the old classmate who promoted me in the moments. During the exhibition, I met several old friends. On the day of the closing, someone messaged me asking, Mint, the art exhibition is over. Are you going abroad? Yeah, the flight is the day after tomorrow. Are you coming back? Depends on the situation. Let's have a meal together tomorrow. We don't know if we'll see each other again. This last sentence was oddly a bit sad. I thought about it and nodded in agreement. After sending the flight information to Chu Yen, the next day I went to the banquet, but in the private room. I not only saw some old friends, but also Xu Jing Shu. Seeing her, I instinctively frowned. The friend who organized the gathering saw me stunned. He immediately came forward to greet me. Mint, after all these years, you're still the same as before. They exchanged pleasantries, using my art exhibition as a topic to start the conversation. Out of politeness and childhood friendship, I answered selectively, and tried to ignore the ever-present Xu Jing Shu. But soon I realized they would unconsciously steer the conversation towards Chen Shubai. I sensed something was off. I interrupted them. What do you want to say? Just say it. Everyone was taken aback. Then someone spoke up. Bo, can you go see Shubai? Chen Shubai. What has happened to him again? After a few people explained, I only then found out. It turned out that after Chen Shubai returned from the art exhibition that day, he became listless and disoriented. He not only lost interest in experiments, he was even unwilling to go out. His condition seemed to revert to when I left the country. We know you're still angry about what happened back then, but we've been friends since childhood. You and Chen Shubai were so close, and now seeing you like this, it's hard for us too. A friend spoke earnestly. He was also the one who asked me to visit Chen Shubai earlier. But, once and again, I've already felt disgusted. I'm not angry. Who would really hold a grudge against someone for 7 years? I have no feelings left for Chen Shubai. You've got the wrong person. I'm not anyone to Chen Shubai. Don't talk to me about his matters anymore. I got up to leave. Suddenly, Xu Jing Shu, who had been silent all along, became angry. Xiaobo, do you have to be so heartless? You've already punished him for 7 years, isn't that enough? Do you have to see him dead to be happy? I was startled by Xu Jing Shu's voice. I turned my head and looked at everyone. They chose silence in response to Xu Jing Shu's words. In a moment, I seemed to understand something. I came to this appointment out of the feelings from my youth. But they had long ago, within these 7 years, taken sides with Xu Jing Shu and Chen Shubai. Bo, we don't mean anything else, we just can't bear to see Shubai so upset. If there was a way, we wouldn't have called you here. Do you know how Shubai has been living these 7 years? If it weren't for Jing Shu always being by his side, you might not even see him anymore. Shubai really likes you these years, he has been waiting for you. Everyone chimes in one after another. In speech, it was no different from the chat records in the group those days. Xu Jing Shu has already cried. Her tears fell in strings. Complaints, blame, pleas. A mix of complex emotions were all in her eyes. Xu Jing Shu said, Xiaobo, if you don't care about Shubai, I do. You win, I'm begging you, go persuade him. From now on, I will never bother you two again. My head was swelling. My mind was completely filled with the words Shubai. And just at this moment, I received a message from Chu Yen. Received, wife, waiting for you to come home. He also sent a photo showing his abs in the bathroom. I wanted to laugh, but the scene I was facing now was very inappropriate. I looked at everyone and refused coldly. I won't go. Why? I'm married. The air suddenly became deathly silent. Everyone's expressions were surprisingly blank and bewildered at that moment. Then, they all turned into complexity. Some people looked behind me. Shubai. I turned my head, just in time to meet the gaze of the pale and wobbly Shubai. I got married 2 years ago. Only a few people know about this, aside from my family. One reason is because it was abroad. The second is my husband, Chu Yen, has a special identity and should not be publicized. But if they look into it, they can still find some web pages about my secret marriage. Moreover, I'm only staying in the country for half a month this time. Apart from the people I have to meet, I never intended to make this matter public to anyone, including Shubai. There's no need, first of all, and also, I thought we wouldn't meet again in the future. But I didn't expect. Before I leave, there would be such a scene. The person who was clamoring the most before, hoping I could give Shubai a chance, completely shut their mouth. The world finally quieted down. Except for Shubai. He seemed to realize something. His gaze was fixed on my fingers. There was a faint ring mark from a small ring. He had never paid attention before. And I did not disappoint him, taking out the ring from my bag and putting it on. The moment the ring mark was covered, Chen Shubai's tears fell. Why? Why? Didn't you say you would only marry me? Chen Shubai kept repeating. He looked up at me. His eyes were already moist and scarlet. You're lying to me, aren't you? Bo, speak, you're lying. Chen Shubai's appearance was touching. No one spoke. I didn't speak either. Yes, I did say that. But that was a childhood promise. Just like when Chen Shubai was 17 and wrote on a draft paper. Chen Shubai will always love Xia Bo, always wants to be with Xia Bo. He didn't do it. I can't do it either. Chen Shubai was crying uncontrollably. His body was trembling. At some point, only he and I were left in the private room. My clothes were grabbed. The other party seemed unable to stand, staggering and kneeling on the ground. Bo, I regret it. I really regret it. Chen Shubai muttered. I don't know when he started to regret. Chen Shubai said. If I had known this, I shouldn't have given the extra spot to Xu Jing Shu. I sigh. You're wrong, Chen Shubai. I got married, not because I was still angry with you. I just don't love you anymore. You probably don't know, but I actually came back to find you. Chen Shubai looked at me with his eyes red. The eyelashes wet with tears suddenly trembled. I quietly looked into the depths of his eyes. 3 months after I went abroad, I regretted it too. How could I easily let go of the 18 years of feelings with Chen Shubai? During that time, I felt lonely and painful all the time. I washed my face with tears all day. I regretted choosing to go abroad in a fit of anger. Missing is like a rapidly growing vine entwining me. I can't breathe. I hope Chen Shubai will appear by my side one day. But as soon as I opened my eyes, surrounded by a strange country and people, finally one day, I couldn't stand it and bought a ticket back to the country. I remember it was a rainy night. I took a long flight of 7 or 8 hours. I took a taxi in the rain to Chen Shubai's school, drenched from head to toe. But what I saw was him and Xu Jing Shu kissing in front of the laboratory building. Their bodies pressed together, inseparable. I can't remember clearly. That day, whether it was the cold rain or my cold heart. I just felt that from head to toe. I was frozen like ice. Chen Shubai, you said you missed me. But in 7 years, you never contacted me. You never inquired about my life abroad, not even a little bit. You never came to find me like I did for you, not even from afar. You don't love me. What you love is the infatuated self that thinks it loves me. Chen Shubai sobbed painfully. His voice was hoarse, almost collapsing emotionally as he murmured. No, it's not like that. After that night, my world completely returned to peace. No one came to find me anymore. And no one mentioned Chen Shubai to me again. On the day I left, Bai Wei came to see me off. She said with tears in her eyes, This parting, I don't know when I'll see you again. If you want to see me, you can come anytime, I'll cover the plane ticket. Bai Wei was amused by me. She looked at me, her eyes seeming to have many questions she wanted to ask. I tentatively asked her. Bai Wei shook her head. Nothing, just feeling a bit sentimental. Sentimental about what? I didn't ask more, just waved to the other party. Then I walked towards the security checkpoint. Before boarding, I received an airport photo sent by Chu Yen. Wife, I'm here to pick you up. Happy little dog. I couldn't help but laugh. Later on, when I heard the news about Chen Shubai, it was his death. It was said that he died suddenly from heart failure after staying up all night doing experiments. As for Xu Jing Shu, without the presence of Chen Shubai, her focus was no longer on her studies. Eventually, while going out one time, she was hit by a car in a daze crossing the road and has not woken up to this day. A friend sent a message asking, "Mint, will you come back for Chen Shubai's funeral?" No, that was the last time my name was linked with Chen Shubai's. From then on, looking back over thousands of miles, old friends are forever gone.